Hey, it is Kenny of Kenny's Audiophile Record Reviews. Thank you very much for viewing my video. Please like and subscribe. I really appreciate that. Please hit that thumbs up button. That'll help my channel analytics out. Please have a comment in the comment section below as well. In this video, I'm going to review two jazz albums. Are they perfect 10s? Are they exceptional jazz albums? Well, you can leave your comments in the comment section below about these two exceptional albums. Do I think they're 10s? Well, stay tuned and we'll see about that. And also, after I review those albums, I'm going to give a commentary, and I want your opinions in the comment section below. What do you think of the current status of jazz reissue records by some of these reissue companies? What improvements do you think these companies can make? And also, what do you think of just reissue records in general, regardless of the genre, from some of these reissue companies? What improvements can be made just overall in terms of jazz and just as reissue records regardless of genre by these reissue companies? What improvements can they make? Please leave your comments in the comment section below. I give my commentary after I very briefly review these two albums. And this one is just a sensational jazz album. It's called Workin' with the Miles Davis Quintet. I believe this was recorded in 1956. It was not released until 1960 on Prestige Records. This was reissued as part of the original Jazz Classic series by Kraft Recordings. And this album features Miles Davis trumpet, John Coltrane tenor sax, Red Garland piano, Paul Chambers bass, Philly Joe Jones drums. What a sensational quintet they were. This is in mono. Again, Kraft Recordings original Jazz Classics reissue of this 1960 album. At least I think it was in 1960. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comment section below. I really appreciate it. But this album is just literally outstanding. This is a masterclass in the way jazz should be heard, and not necessarily heard, but at least played. This is a mono record. In terms of a performance, it's just literally a masterclass by all musicians. You know, you hear that pure tone of Miles Davis's trumpet is so beautiful and clean, and John Coltrane, his sensation, and the steady piano playing of Red Garland, Paul Chambers on bass, Philly Joe Jones on drums. When you think of jazz, when I think of jazz around that period, around that time, I think of records like this, some of those great recordings Miles Davis was doing at that time. And this is one of those albums, this is one of those late night listening session albums. I bring that term up in a lot of my videos, but this is one of those records where you put on late at night, just close your eyes. That's what I did with this album. I was listening to this album in the daytime, as a matter of fact. I got so much into this album, so much in the mood of this album. I just shut my eyes and let those brothers work and do their, in terms of entertaining me through my stereo system. I just closed my eyes and just enjoyed all of the songs on this beautiful Miles Davis album. Like I said, it's one of those type of albums where you can just, real late at night, if you want to hear jazz, if you want to hear real jazz, Working with the Miles Davis Quintet would be an excellent choice. But this is a superb Miles Davis performance at that time. It's amazing how expansive Miles Davis's career was. When you think of an album like this and fast forward to Bitches Brew and the Jack Johnson Sessions album, in this album, how versatile Miles Davis was throughout his enormous career. This is a 10 in terms of performance. No doubt about it. Please leave your comments in the comment section below about Working with the Miles Davis Quintet. It sounds quite good in mono. It really does. It's a very nice mono recording. It's lacking just a tad in terms of, you know, the detail in the pristineness, in the intimate details of the instruments, but it sounds quite good. Some of these mid-50s mono records are just stunningly sensational in terms of their presence, in terms of the detail in the smaller mono space. But even though it's in a smaller mono space, you forget it's a smaller mono space because you're listening to these great musicians and their great instruments and the sensational, fantabulous detail that the mono provides during that time period. The sound of this record is somewhere between a 9 and a 9.5 in mono. It sounds stunning. Working with the Miles Davis Quintet, a great night listening session album, no doubt. Ironically, that's not even close to being my favorite Miles Davis album. My favorite Miles Davis album, Bitches Brew. Now I'm going to review this one, Empyrean Isles, Herbie Hancock. This album features Herbie Hancock piano. Empyrean Isles. Herbie Hancock piano, Freddie Hubbard cornet, Ron Carter bass, Anthony Williams, actually Tony Williams, drums. I believe this was issued in 1964, if I recall. This was reissued on the Blue Note Classic Series label, oh by the way. This album can, just like the Cannonball Adderley Something Else album, can easily be called a Miles Davis album because he's more of a headliner, just as much as a headliner than Cannonball Adderley was. This album, Empyrean Isles, easily could be a Freddie Hubbard album. Freddie Hubbard is jamming on this record. From the first song, One Finger Snap, throughout all the compositions of songs on this album, Freddie Hubbard is jamming. I mean, you had a young Freddie Hubbard, a young Herbie Hancock, a young Ron Carter, a young Tony Williams. Tony Williams was a kid in 1964. My God. And this Cantaloupe Island is a headlining song on this legendary album. But all the songs on here are quite good. I know on the song The Egg, the second part of the song The Egg, Ron Carter plays beautifully on his bow, on his bass, accompanied by Herbie Hancock on piano on this particular record, on that piece. Listen to the second half of that song. Listen to the whole song. But the second half is sensational, featuring Ron Carter and Herbie Hancock. Overall, I wish Ron Carter had more responsibility in terms of a little bit more solos on this album. Tony Williams was solid, his normal solid and sensational self in terms of keeping the excellent pace and tempo. And the Freddie Hubbard and Herbie Hancock solos were fantabulous on this sensational record. I believe, if I recall, Freddie Hubbard was on the left speaker, Herbie Hancock was around the middle of the soundstage, Ron Carter maybe was a little bit to the right of Herbie Hancock around the center, and Tony Williams on drums was on the right speaker, again with Freddie Hubbard on the left speaker. This is another 10 in performance, in my opinion. The sound, I'm going to give approximately a 9 because Ron Carter on bass could have had a bit more presence, a lot more presence, in my opinion. And Herbie Hancock piano could have had more detail and presence as well. A sensational record, a land-breaking record by Herbie Hancock. What a stunningly legendary performance this is. Performance a 9. Actually, performance a 10, sound a 9. Give your opinions on this legendary record. And this, too, is not my favorite Herbie Hancock record, oh, by the way. That's Headhunters. It's amazing, these two albums by Miles Davis and Herbie Hancock get 10s, and they're not my favorite Miles Davis and Herbie Hancock albums. Now I'm going to get on to another topic, and that is a current state of jazz reissue records by these reissue companies like Impex Records. Analog Productions is famous for issuing jazz records, Craft Recordings. There's several others as well. What is your opinion on the current state of jazz reissue records? Please leave your comments in the comment section below. And the same for just reissue records overall. I'm going to give a commentary about that after I talk about jazz. But in terms of jazz, I think we are in a great space when it comes to jazz reissue records because we have dedicated reissue series like the Blue Note Tone Poet series, Blue Note Classic series, some of these series that Analog Productions, Acoustic Sounds reissues, Craft Recordings. Impex does some great jazz work. But I think we're in a very good spot. I do have some suggestions, though, of improvement in spite of the great status of the current state of jazz reissue records. One is, I wish they would issue, and I may have mentioned this in other videos of past, but I wish they would take more dedicated time and space for some of these lesser than and more obscure jazz record labels like CTI Records. There's some great CTI records that deserve a high quality pressing on the level of the Tone Poets. That's what I'm talking about. Maybe MPS Records. There was this group on, I think it was MPS Records, I think it was, Singers Unlimited. They were an awesome jazz vocal group. It would be cool if they were to reissue their records, like I said, on the same quality as the Tone Poets, or maybe the Flying Dutchman label. Some of those more obscure labels, do some work in terms of, you know, promoting them to a newer, younger jazz audience. That would be super cool. A lot of concentration goes to some of these prestige records, Blue Note records, but they need to open it up to some of these more obscure record labels. I know it might be difficult because of licensings and ownership rights, so it's more difficult than some of us realize. I get that. But I think they need to really concentrate on that. And another point of improvement, I must say, it would be cool if they were to reissue more jazz fusion records. You know, like Return to Forever, Larry Coryell, Flora Purim, Weather Report. You know, reissue Mahavishnu Orchestra. It'd be cool if they were to reissue some of those legendary jazz fusion records, like I said, on the same level as the Blue Note Classic series, or preferably the Tone Poet series. Some of those great reissue records that the Tone Poets are doing. Do it for jazz fusion. Do it for MPS records. Do it for CTI records. Do it for the Flying Dutchman records and some of these more obscure record labels. I think that would be so cool if they were open up and expand the scope of some of these jazz reissue records. That would be my opinion. I know some of you out there have complaints about them, you know, reissue these records over and over and over again. That doesn't bother me because I think that is, to some degree, a pursuit of excellence, a pursuit of improvement by some of these reissue companies. They think they can do the best and grandest version of any particular record. So that doesn't bother me because, after all, if they come out with a reissue record that I'm not interested in, I just ignore it. It's no big deal to me if they keep on coming out with the same record over and over again. They just need to expand their scope, is what I'm trying to say. In addition to that, those would be my suggestions. Now for records overall, I'm talking about pop, you know, progressive rock, R&B. Some of those records, some of those genres, I wish they would, you know, reissue, like, for example, a Motown series, the same way they do in the Blue Note Classic series. Some of these sensationally ignored and great Motown acts, like, you know, the Jackson 5, the Temptations, the Supremes, the Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, you know, Stevie Wonder. Have a reissue series for Motown. I don't know, for all I know, they already have. I don't know. But again, it's cool that you can have a Motown reissue series on the same level as the Blue Note Classic series, a Tone Poet series, and have a really good mastering engineer do it too, just not anybody. You know, reissue more R&B and soul records, and some of the classic 60s records, like, you know, Spanky and Our Gang, the Classics 4, Petula Clark, and, you know, The Fifth Dimension, some of these classic 60s groups that were sensational, you know, Spiral Staircase, albums, groups like that. The Beau Brummels, I can go on and on. It'd be cool if they can reissue some of those classic 60s records on high quality pressings. That would be super cool. That would be my suggestion in terms of reissue records overall. But please leave your comments in the comment section below on that topic in terms of jazz reissue records and reissue records overall. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. That's just a few suggestions from me. I can go on and come up with some more, but that's just some off the top of my head. But thank you very much for viewing my video, and if you want to donate to my channel, there's a PayPal donation link in the description below. those donation goes towards me purchasing these records. That would really be cool, and that would help me out. And also, there's a PayPal, not a PayPal, there's Amazon affiliate links in the description below for products for sale. I get a commission for the sale of those products. Even if you don't buy those products and go through those links to Amazon and purchase something that you actually need, I'll still get a commission for that sale as long as you go through the Amazon affiliate links in the description below. I'm looking forward to the albums I'm going to receive. As of the posting date of this video, I'm due to receive the Art Pepper Meets the Rhythm section and the Sonny Rollins Way Out West UHQR sets. I'm due to receive them, I think, tomorrow. So I may review one or both of them. I don't know if I'm going to do them all in the same video or separately, but that might be my next video coming up after this one. So I'm looking forward to critiquing those UHQR sets. So please watch those videos. Matter of fact, today, if I can, I don't know if I have it here, I purchased this Joni Mitchell album. Now, I have original pressing of this album, but this was a remastered remastered by Bernie Grunman, supervised by Joni Mitchell, remaster. Like I said, I just happened to be passing by a Barnes & Noble bookstore. I just went and looked in the record section. The reason I bought this one is because it was $20. It is one of my favorite Joni Mitchell albums, along with Court and Spark and Blue. But it was $20, so I couldn't pass up on it. Interested to see how this sounds compared to the original pressing that I have. That's going to be pretty interesting. Thank you very much for viewing my video. Please like and subscribe. God bless, strong love, and please keep the peace worldwide.